Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetti.
Our headlines today: a surprise change to the quarantine rules for travellers from France. The need to self-isolate for 10 days will remain in place, causing anger and confusion among holidaymakers.
I booked everything 24 hours ago and now everything is changing, so quite disappointing.
The race to find survivors of the floods that have wreaked havoc across Western Europe. More than 120 people are dead. Hundreds are still missing.
More than 35 million people in England will be offered a flu jab this winter. They'll include the over 50s and children up to the age of 16.
And plenty of fun in the sun for the thousands heading to this weekend's sporting events. At the Open, breaking records. Louis Westhuizen leads by 2 shots at the halfway point. And at Silverstone, more than 80,000 fans are expected for the new qualifying race ahead of tomorrow's British Grand Prix.
We've just had a very balmy night and it promises to be a sunny and very warm day. And guess what? Same tomorrow.
Good morning. It's Saturday, the 17th of July. Fully vaccinated travellers returning to England and Wales from France will still have to spend 10 days in quarantine. This is the latest government announcement.
The rule takes effect from Monday, when many other COVID restrictions, including those around travel to amber list countries, are being eased. With more details, here's our political correspondent, Jonathan Blake.
For those hoping for a holiday in France this summer, plans may have to change. From Monday, the country will stay on the amber list, but unlike other destinations in that category, adults who are fully vaccinated will still have to isolate for 10 days on their return to England and Wales.
I was planning on going to France for a short trip as I have a family wedding there coming at the end of July. That was the plan. The wedding has been delayed. It was supposed to be last year, and I booked everything 24 hours ago and now everything is changing, so quite disappointing.
Concern about cases in France of the beta variant of coronavirus, first discovered in South Africa, have prompted the move. Ministers stopped short of adding France to the red list, which requires enforced hotel quarantine. But the Health Secretary Sajid Javid said the government had always been clear it would not hesitate to take rapid action at the borders to stop the spread of COVID-19. Travel industry bodies accuse the government of a confused approach to international travel, though, and Labour also criticised the change.
Really, the government has created chaos here, where they've made an announcement that double jab people on the coming from amber list countries didn't need to quarantine. Now they seem to have changed their mind in relation to France. That's creating a fourth category, an amber list plus, if you like, which is just creating chaos for the travelling public and for the travel industry yet again.
Allowing adults who are fully vaccinated to avoid isolation on their return from amber list countries offers hope of a holiday for some. But the decision to make France an exception is a sign of uncertainty in government about how the pandemic will pan out. Jonathan Blake, BBC News.
Well, that news broke just before 8:30 last night, and it was met by a series of furious responses from different parts of the travel industry.
Now, the boss of EasyJet, Johan Lundgren, issued a statement saying the traffic light system is falling apart, with the government making it up as they go along and causing confusion and uncertainty. And that sentiment echoed by industry counterpart Willie Walsh, who of the International Air Transport Association, who said the government is flip-flopping and making life impossible for people who are desperate to see friends and family.
A Eurotunnel spokesperson said the announcement, so close to the school holidays, will ruin summer for many people, and the ferry operator, DFDS, said the news came as a surprise and that it's disappointing that services are not opening up totally to everyone, as we all would have liked.
Bulgaria has banned people from the UK travelling there because of the rising number of COVID infections. The ban will come into effect on Monday, the same day the country joins the British government's green travel list.
Hundreds of people are still missing following floods across large parts of Western Europe.
At least 128 people have died after heavy rainfall caused severe flooding in Germany, Belgium and the Netherlands. Our correspondent, Anna Holligan, has more.
As the water gradually subsides, the number of people confirmed dead continues to rise. In Germany, many are still missing. Tens of thousands of homes are waiting for the power to be restored. Across the border in Belgium, homes engulfed, whole villages submerged, swathes of Liège wiped out by the elements. In Popinster, the armed forces came to save the stranded who left everything behind. In nearby Verviers, the waters have receded, but they're stunned by everything that's been swept away.
This shop has been open for 3 years. We had to go through renovations, we had to live through COVID, we were hoping to get back on our feet, and now this.
The Belgian Prime Minister has declared the 20th of July a national day of mourning. In the Netherlands, this was Roermond. Sections of the city have simply disappeared. This region is now officially a disaster zone. While COVID kept them isolated, this crisis has reunited a community. These are the remnants of businesses in the spa town of Valkenburg.
Well, the emergency services are busy trying to restore power and secure pavements. The people have come together to try to bring some form of order to these devastated streets.
This solidarity and sense of purpose is what's getting them through.
We need to stay positive. We can cry all day, but it will not help anything. So better smiling and keep working and try to save anything. Yeah.
After the rain, here and right across Western Europe, they're still calculating the cost of repairing what remains. Anna Holligan, BBC News, Valkenburg.
More than 35 million people in England will receive a free flu jab this winter, and for the first time, all children aged 11 to 16 will be included.
The expanded programme will be delivered alongside booster jabs for COVID-19. Here's our health and science correspondent, James Gallagher.
Flu all but disappeared last winter. The restrictions, social distancing and mask wearing that slowed down the spread of coronavirus also prevented the usual round of winter bugs. But now we're getting closer to normal. The fear is we could have a bigger than usual flu season that could combine with COVID and other infections to put the NHS under intense pressure. So England is launching its biggest ever flu vaccination programme. More than 35 million people will be offered the vaccine for free. So who can get it? Doctors, nurses, care home staff and other frontline and care workers. Anyone over the age of 50. Pregnant women, people at higher risk from flu, including those with asthma, and there will be a significant expansion of the number of children offered the vaccine. Children get a nasal spray instead of an injection. 2- and 3-year-olds, as well as all primary school children, will be offered the vaccine as usual. Last year, only secondary school pupils up to the age of 12 were included, but this will increase to all those 16 and under.
It's desperately important that we all get vaccinated if we're invited this year, because last year cases were very low. They were partly low because people weren't going out and about and they weren't mixing, but they were also partly low because so many people were vaccinated. Over 80% of the over 65s took up the invitation to get vaccinated. This year, we've got more people than ever being invited, and that is going to be one of the best ways of preventing our hospitals from being unable to cope.
Meanwhile, there could also be more COVID jabs this winter. The NHS is drawing up plans to give a third dose to more than 30 million people if they're needed. James Gallagher, BBC News.
Pop-up vaccine centres are opening across England in shops and parks this weekend as part of an NHS Grab a Jab initiative. The vaccination hubs will be set up in Primark stores, the Tate Modern, and even the Open Championship. The aim is to boost the vaccine uptake among young people ahead of Monday, when the majority of coronavirus restrictions are set to be lifted.
I would urge you to come in, get yourself vaccinated. There will be a wonderful atmosphere, and there will be lots of help and support and advice and guidance for you. To everybody, anybody who's over 18 and eligible to have a vaccine, please do come forward if you haven't had a jab, and we are here and ready and waiting for you.
From today, there will no longer be a limit on the number of people meeting outside in Wales, as some coronavirus restrictions are eased. The relaxation allows 6 adults from different households to meet indoors, and organised indoor events can start taking place with up to 1,000 people seated and 200 standing.
The United States wants to build a giant new radar system in the UK to track objects in deep space. The US Space Force is developing the global system to identify potential targets in areas where a lot of military satellites are positioned. The Ministry of Defence said the new radar capability has the potential to make space safer and more secure.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.